Direct your ire at Andy Burnham. He's been told he's going to have to raise taxes.
What it's going to do is take money out of the pockets of hard-working men and women. I mean, this is outrageous. He shouldn't be raising taxes. The thing he should do is stop spending on stupid vanity projects. This is just, it's beyond belief. If you're setting out to literally destroy your country, do this.
Hello and welcome to the Daily Expresso. I'm JJ Nisiobi, and as always, I'm joined by the wonderful Carol Malone.
Hello, darling. You all right?
I'm very well.
Have you not got an iron at home?
I know. You know what? I got back from holiday yesterday.
Yeah.
And this morning I wasn't feeling.
Did you sleep in that shirt when you got back from holiday?
I did have
because it looks like it.
I did have a kip in the office actually earlier.
You can tell. That's all I'm saying.
Well, direct your ire at
direct my ire
at Andy Burnham because
yes,
he's been told he's going to have to raise taxes. The thing no one wants to happen, he's going to have to do.
Also, the thing the manifesto said wasn't going to happen either, but Labour completely ignored that for the past 2 years.
Yeah.
Yes, he is going to have to raise taxes. You know, this is kind of mainly to fund social care. Now, you know, social care does need fixing. You know, previous governments have said they're going to do it. They've never done it.
Yeah.
So it's a courageous thing to do on Burnham's part to say he's going to fix it. However, the way he intends to go about fixing it is not courageous at all, because what it's going to do is take money out of the pockets of hard-working men and women. Yeah. The people on benefits, of course, will pay nothing. The people who work will actually have to pay something like an extra 1.8% of their salary for social care later in life.
Yeah.
So we already pay for the National Health Service out of our wages. That gets taken straight out. This is going to be another lot taken out. And trust me, once they've started this, this is never going to stop. This is going to keep happening. And the bottom line here is, you know, we already pay for social care. You know, you try it because we take money off the elderly. We make them sell their houses. We put them into care homes, which charge anything between $2,000 and $8,000 a month. It's nearer $8,000 than $2,000. A lot of those homes are substandard. They're not good.
Yeah, I agree.
At all. And so the elderly person's inheritance is gone. So that means their family, their kids inherit nothing. So the idea that the government is doing this kind of as an act of largesse and that you know, the social care is free now. No, it's not. We pay for it, and we pay a lot of money for it. And I just think, you know, he's talking about like a national care service. Now, that is going to come under the umbrella of the NHS, which does not work. This is the worst. If it was a business, it would have gone bust years ago. Has a budget of £242 billion, and most of that money, the majority of that money, is spent on staffing. It's not spent on patient care.
Yeah.
If it was spent on patient care, that would be lovely. We wouldn't then have the worst cancer survival rates in the Western world. You know, we wouldn't have mile-long waiting, you know,
waiting lists.
Waiting lists.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have, you know, appalling emergency care. You know, we have in this country, we have something like 134 hospital trusts, and 107 of them are substandard. They fail on almost every level. So the idea that he's gonna do a national care service under the umbrella of the National Health is the biggest joke on the planet. That is just not going to work. As I say, I admire his courage in trying to tackle it, but this is not the way to tackle it. And it's also, so people are going to be paying more when they're alive for social care. If he imposes a death tax on people, which is highly likely, he's going to have to do that as well. You know, think about his constituents in Makerfield. Say those guys have paid off their house and don't have a mortgage, and the house is worth between about 400 and 500 grand.
Yeah.
They're going to have to pay, with his death tax, they're going to have to pay 50 grand of that to the government when they die to go into the social care budget. I mean, this is outrageous. You know, they're not allowing anyone who's worked all their lives and built up some kind of inheritance. They're not going to allow them to pass it on to their kids.
Yeah.
Who actually, kids now, they need that because none of them have got houses. So they need it more than ever. But you know, at the end of the day, not many people are going to have a house at the end of the day because they're going to have to sell it for their care, thanks to this socialist Labour government.
Well, Kemi Badenoch has said that she would be happy with the Conservatives to work with Burnham on reforming social care, but only if he doesn't raise taxes.
He's going to. I mean, you know, the thing is, He shouldn't be raising taxes. The thing he should do is stop spending on stupid vanity projects like, number 10 in the North. I mean, this is just ridiculous. And Burnham has made quite clear he doesn't give a toss about anybody beyond Watford Gap. He only cares about Northerners. And actually, he only cares about people from Manchester. It's not all Northerners. He doesn't care about people in Scotland and Edinburgh. He only cares about, what's the word for the collective word for Manchester people?
Mancunians.
Mancunians, that is. That's all he cares about. But, to spend the billions he's going to spend on this number 10 in the North, why is he not putting that into social care? Why is he spending more on foreign aid this year than ever before? 16.5 billion on foreign aid. Why is he putting that into social care, which we're told is going to cost about 18.5 billion? That would almost sort it out without having to tax hardworking men and women.
Well, he's also going to, you'll be happy about this one, Carol, he's going to be paying parents who are on benefits some dough so that their kids can do apprenticeships.
You know what? This is just, it's beyond belief. I mean, this is like the template for if you're setting out to literally destroy your country, do this. So he's had this idea about apprenticeships. Great idea. It's a fantastic idea. Government should have had this idea years and years ago. So he's going to have all these apprenticeships. But a lot of the parents of these young people who would take up these apprenticeships, they're saying, "Oh no, I'm not going to let my Johnny do that because I'm going to lose the PIP payment I get for him, which could be between £80 a week and £150 a week." So parents are actually discouraging their kids from taking up these apprenticeships. Can you imagine any parent doing that? Any decent parent doing that? And don't tell me it's because it's very hard for them, struggling. Okay, their 19-year-old kid is about to go out to work and earn money, right? He'll give you some money or she'll give you some money from whatever it is they're earning. Also, maybe they should go out and get a job. Maybe we shouldn't have this situation where everyone is dependent on the state. We've got to get rid of this dependent on the state. We've got 1 million young people not working now. And many of them would prefer to just stay at home watching daytime TV all day. So Burnham might have these apprenticeships. But what he's got to really tackle is the mindset of a generation of kids who for 6 months, a year, 2 years, have been sitting at home doing sod all. Sorry for swearing, but it makes my blood boil. And so when Burnham comes up with a scheme, which is a great idea about apprenticeships, he's then going to pay their parents to make them go to work. They should be getting down on bended knee, thanking Burnham for organising apprenticeships and thanking the employers who are going to take them on. But no, you've got to pay someone now to go to work. It's a very simple solution. Stop the benefits. Then they'll have to go to work.
But I guess it's with, I don't disagree with you on it, but I feel like with the benefit system, it is, people are better off.
They are.
If they don't work.
Really. And that is Labour's fault. The Tories were bad, but Labour have been chronic. They've made it, the Tories' slogan was, we want to make work pay. Labour's slogan is, we want to make living on benefits pay. Don't work. Just don't work. These kids who get PIP, they get something like, I think it's 180 quid a week on PIP, if they're off with a disability. Now, a disability can be a little bit of anxiety. I'm a little bit fed up. That's classed as a disability. So they get 180 quid a week for that. They're going to do a proper job. They wouldn't have 180 quid a week. They'd have less than that because they'd have tax to pay. They'd have also. So they wouldn't get that amount of money. So why would they work?
Yeah.
I mean, I could, when I was that age, I wanted to work, but I can understand why a whole load of kids would say, well, why would we bother? We've got more in our pockets if we stay at home. That's what Burnham has got to tackle, not paying parents money to make their kid go out and learn a trade. I mean, it's just a stupid concept. And people from abroad, they would look at it and go, what is this country doing to itself? It's paying people to go out to work.
Yeah.
Madness.
Yeah,
Lunacy.
Everything is digital now, isn't it? Your money, your photos, even your loyalty card at the coffee shop. So there's something quietly brilliant about owning one thing that isn't on a screen. Real gold bullion. The weight of it, the shine, it's just a lovely thing to hold. The Pure Gold Company, which was voted the UK's best gold broker, makes owning physical gold really simple. Tax-free gold coins from the Royal Mint with friendly one-to-one guidance from your first question to final delivery. There's no jargon, no pressure, no call centre queues. It's insured to your door or stored in a secure professional vault. So visit the Pure Gold Company today and tell them JJ sent you. So let's move on to Zach Polanski.
Oh, let's.
He has found the anger from Farage and Reform. I'm conflicted on this story.
Oh, what's to be conflicted? What's the matter with you?
So Polanski posted an image in fact, he didn't even post it. Somebody else posted the images and he shared it. And there's a guy wearing a T-shirt with an image of a guillotine. And the slogan says, "We're only making plans for Nigel."
Yeah.
And now Reform is saying that person should, well, actually Zach Polanski should be investigated by the police.
Of course he should. Polanski is a fool of monumental proportions. I mean, this is just the latest in a long line of cock-ups from this buffoon who shouldn't be anywhere near a political party. It seems to me that, because what he said, he was asked to apologise 7 times on, I think it was Newsnight he was on, 7 times, and he said he won't apologise for a mistake. It is beyond astonishing to me that he doesn't think that this is worth apologising. One of his, I think, was the deputy leader of the party who was on telly the other night. Because what Polanski always does when the you-know-what hits the fan, he goes into hiding for a few days while he gathers what he's going to say, what nonsense excuse he's going to come up with for making mistakes. But the woman came out and said, this deputy leader came out and said, well, he took down the tweet and the presenter said, yeah, but he hasn't apologised. And he said, she said, well, that's an apology, isn't it? Well, no, it's actually not an apology. And Polanski is saying this was a genuine mistake, that he hadn't read it. Well, do you put out tweets that you haven't read? Because I don't. And especially when they're calling for the death of a party leader like Nigel Farage. It is no excuse to say, I didn't see it, I didn't realise. It's in his name. And it's his responsibility to monitor what goes out of his account. And he didn't monitor that. And what that tweet showed was, as you said, the photograph of some nutter activist wearing a T-shirt that had a guillotine on it. And it was saying, we're only making plans for Nigel. Now, Farage is quite... imagine if Farage retweeted that image about another party leader. He would have been castigated by the left. Everyone has said this is irresponsible. He shouldn't be leading a political party. It's outrage. But when it's Nigel Farage, it's people treat him almost like he's subhuman. That the fact he gets 600 death threats and has had 600 death threats this year, it's nothing. It doesn't matter because it's only Nigel Farage. It does matter because he's worried for his own family. He's worried that the hatred for him might spill over to them, which is why every Reform member now has 24-hour security. But Polanski is the leader of a political party, and he has to be more responsible than this. He has to take accountability for the mistakes he made. Remember when he was revealed that he'd once hypnotised women into thinking their breasts bigger. He denied that, said it didn't happen. It did happen. It absolutely did happen. And not only did he says he was set up by the Sun. No, he wasn't. He knew exactly what he was doing. And actually 3 weeks later, he did a BBC interview, a radio interview, where he said it was absolutely possible, again, to make women's breasts bigger. So he lies. He always tries to wiggle out of things. Then he didn't pay his council tax on his houseboat for 3 years. So this is the bloke who's telling the whole country they have to fork out for more taxes. He wants tax raises for everyone, and yet he doesn't think he should pay any. And his excuse was, I didn't know I had to. Well, tosh, absolute tosh. Make it your business to find out what tax you owe. And here he is again saying this was a mistake. I don't believe it was a mistake for a nanosecond.
What do you think the person who's actually wearing the T-shirt should be?
He should be in jail right now.
Yeah.
Whether we like it or not, and whether it's fair or not, politicians should be held to a greater account than the rest of us. These are our elected representatives. And you can't have them putting tweets out calling for the death of another party leader. You just can't. And if this doesn't finish him, if the Greens don't fire him over this, well, then they're tanking in the polls right now. And one of the major reasons they're tanking in the polls is because of their buffoon clown of a leader.
I don't think they're going to sack Zach Polanski.
Well, they're going to go further down the toilet. They're just, they're going to become a joke. Well, they are a joke party already, but they're going to become more of a joke party.
Right. Well, let's move on to Prince Harry. So him and his mates, they're going to be looks like they're going to be having to pay 10 million quid to Associated Press.
Is that all?
Associated Press, not Associated Press.
No.
Not Associated Press. Oh, Associated News. Yeah, 10 million is what the publisher's
all?
asking for.
The costs were 50 million. Why aren't they paying that between
They
them?
want an initial sum of 10 million. The rest will come at later points. But I didn't know this, that they have insurance. I didn't know if you could do that.
And I think the insurance is up to something like 1.5 million. So that it's not going to touch them on this round. But if Associated come back, which they absolutely should. You know, these people knew they didn't have the evidence months before the trial, which is why they went to Associated and said, we're prepared to settle. Give us, I don't know what, I think they asked for 5 million each or something. And Associated said, absolutely not. Now, you have to be pretty sure of your ground to turn down people offering to settle before the court case. Lots of other newspapers would have gladly taken that deal who were involved. But Associated knew they weren't. They knew there was nothing on them, and they said, no, off you trot. So the fact that Associated have had to pay out 50 million in costs, I don't see why those people should get away with just 10 between them. Because it isn't going to touch them. Because I think their insurance is up to 1.5 million each.
Yeah. And the publisher is saying that the behaviour of Harry and Co. and the allegations and the way they did it, that may actually now mean that the insurance company may not pay them out anything.
Good.
Yeah.
That'll teach them. I think it's because even after the court case is finished, even after justice had been done, Harry's out there calling it a whitewash. We came here for justice and we haven't had it. No, what happened, Harry, is the judge didn't believe your silly stories, and he told you quite clearly he didn't believe it, that you had no evidence, and that you thinking something had happened is not the same as giving evidence to show that that thing had happened. So he was made to look very foolish in court, and yet still. Him and I think Baroness Lawrence came out and said much the same thing. This was not justice. This was a whitewash. No, it wasn't. This was justice. It's just the kind of justice they don't like, because they really thought that the prevailing feeling about the media would go in their favour, and that they would be able to just coin a few million quid. And I'm glad they haven't. And I hope this is a lesson to everyone who wants to bring a fake claim against a newspaper and who just thinks, let's see what we can get. I hope this is a lesson.
Well, Harry will be all right, won't he? His dad's the king.
Will he? Yeah, but you see, do you think the king's going to get... The king can't be seen at all to give him money, because the king has to be seen to keep out of all of this.
Well, they gave money to... I say it wasn't a king. It was a king. Charles, when he was prince, and Queen, the late Queen Elizabeth, gave money to Miss Giuffre.
That's entirely different. That didn't involve our British justice system. This does. And I don't think the king can be seen to be paying for Harry, let's be generous, for Harry's mistakes in believing that he was hacked or followed or whatever. So I don't think the king can be seen to be doing this. And you say it's not going to matter to him. Oh, I think a few million quid matters to Harry at the moment. He's not earning, is he?
No.
Meghan's not earning much either. She's down there doing bit appearances on Celebrity MasterChef in Australia. One appearance. That'll bring 20 grand. I mean, they're just not earning that much money anymore. They're a joke in America now. So the big money is gone. So I think it will matter to him. And I think Meghan will be incandescent. Because, of course, they could appeal if they wanted to. But, of course, all of them now will be worried because... They're not going to chance that. Because unless they've got any more proper evidence to bring, it's just going to cost them another 10 million or 20 million or 50 million.
I wish I had those kind of problems. I wish I could afford to have those kind of problems.
Well, the thing is, Harry's just got to get over it. He's obsessed with the media. It is an obsession with him. He blames them for everything. He particularly blames them for his mother's death. But what he's doing now... I mean, it's just not going to redress the balance of that. And the media didn't kill his mother. A drunk driver killed his mother. But that doesn't matter. The fact is that he's obsessed with believing that they are all out to get him. There's a name for that when you think everyone's out to get you. But anyway.
Well, listen, Cal, I'm going to let you escape this cool studio for the London heat wave.
I've got to now... just slog at home to get my dog, who was sitting in a hot house and would be cursing me.
Should have brought him with you.
You would regret that. Say, I would love to have him in here, but I think he might just take over the show. He's an attention seeker. A bit like yourself.
I was going to say a bit like his owner.
I'll be you to it.
You beat me. Well, thanks, Carol. Thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe, comment, and hit the hype button. Bye-bye. Right, a quick pause in the podcast to tell you about our sponsor, Incogni. You had those phone calls from numbers you don't recognize, or you go in your inbox and there's emails for stuff you did not sign up for. Well, that's because someone somewhere is selling your private information. That's where today's sponsor comes in, Incogni. They will contact these people who have been taking your information, and they'll say, oi, stop, delete it. Go to the website, incogni.com. You type in the details. 2 minutes later, Incogni are sorting it out for you automatically. And because I love you, I've got you a discount. It ain't 10%, it ain't 20, 60% off. 60% off an annual Incogni plan. Just go to incogni.com/Daily Expresso or click the link in the episode description box below.